So I took Shahada in my dorm room December of 1996. I
Oh
was by
my God.
myself. I read it in English. I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And then that next Friday, I went to, because the students would have Jumu'ah. And
Mhm.
so I went there and I'm like, okay, I want to be Muslim. Like, I didn't know how to say it in Arabic. So I was like, okay, I want to be Muslim. So they like made me repeat it in Arabic. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, okay. So they were like, yeah, so you Muslim now? And then like a week later, so it was Ramadan.
Oh no. Oh gosh. You took your shahada a week before Ramadan. I'm surprised you didn't unconvert for that.
I was like, oh, it's what? Wait, well, we got to do what now? Because I
Mhm.
had never heard of it, and I didn't
Yeah.
know how to fast. But luckily, the students there were really, really helpful to me. The Muslim sisters there were really wonderful to me, and they taught me like the basics of fasting, the basics of my salah, and all of that sort of thing. So that part was almost the easy part.
Hmm.
And I hate to be so long winded, but
No, 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 you're
when the
fine.
pushback came, it came from my family first. My father actually stopped speaking to me. He was like, no, I don't like that.
Oh
I'm
no.
not talking to you. And I was really heartbroken about that because me and my dad were really tight. And I'm like, you're not talking to me? Why? He was like, no, I don't like what you're doing. I don't understand it. So I don't like it. And
Well, that's because he's a pastor, correct?
well, no, my father wasn't a pastor. My
Oh,
grandfather was.
okay.
On my mother's side. My father actually wasn't really church inclined at all, really. So it would surprise me that he had the reaction that he had at that
Mhm.
time. Fast forwarding, I actually ended up years later giving my father Shahada. So,
Ya Allah, tabarakallah.
mhm.
Oh my
So I took
God.
Shahada, and then all of my brothers and sisters took it. I gave it to my father. So it
Oh
was
my
like almost
gosh.
the whole family ended up converting. So
And you did this, you started this at the age of 13 when most kids are just thinking about fashion and friends, and you were spiritually inclined at such a young age.
yeah, yeah, that was always a little weird to me. I was like, oh, well, I don't know why I'm so inclined, but I was just really interested in it. I just really wanted to know. I just really wanted to
That's
know.
that's oh wow. See, I didn't think the story was going to be like this. This is wow. You need to write a book. That's wow. You could probably write a book and help others get through what you had to go through, the whole family judgment and being young and finding your way.
Mhm.
Wow. That, I'm still wait. I'm still stuck a little bit. um, that's just amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Okay, we're gonna move on. I just that's amazing. Right. So let's get into it. So, right. So, what made me want to talk to you about this was I was recently watching a few speeches and I watched different people speak. And I saw a speech by Dr. Jordan Peterson. And I'm sure you've heard of him. He is a Canadian professor. And he was speaking about women and why women are so inclined to kind of be social justice warriors and why women. Do you know what a social justice warrior is?
Mhm.
Okay. So, right. So, and he was speaking about the reasons why women are inclined to do these things. And he was talking about the conscious versus the subconscious mind of a woman and how we have taken on our gender roles. And what he spoke about was how women are to be the distributors and men are the providers. So, if you think of it in terms of a home, the man brings home the meat, the food, and so on, and the woman distributes it fairly amongst the family. Every child gets their share, and the mother and father get theirs. So this is kind of the reason why Jordan Peterson mentioned that women are more inclined to always want equality for everyone because of this natural kind of thing that we have in us, our innate senses. So, with that being said, my question to you is this. Jordan Peterson brought up a point about, did you hear about a movie called 50 Shades of Grey that came out?
I heard about it and refused to watch it, but yeah.
Same here. Same here. Me, like I said, as a Muslim woman, I don't need to see any of that. But I do know what it was about, and that was one of the best-selling books that came out. I think it was like probably one of the yeah. I think it was the bestseller for years. Correct?
I think
So,
so.
right. So that movie came out in such a peculiar time because if you remember, during the time that this movie came out, there was a movement going on for sexual equality and um, men not being able to dominate women and tell them what to do.
Mm.
Yet there was this movie that came out in this book that was a bestseller, and women were flocking to the theaters, the cinemas, to go see this. And it was kind of like, wait, so the conscious mind of a woman says, I want equality, I don't want to be dominated, you can't tell me what to do, and you can't judge me. But the subconscious was reading this book about domination and um, you understand. We don't have to get too far into that. But so my question to you is, here I wrote it down. So, what do you think about that movie being released in a time when we were having this kind of sexual equality movement and fairness and men not dominating women? What do you think about the mind of a woman when it comes to things like that? When you see that we say one thing, but we desire and flock to the other.
Well, and I kind of speak on about this on my channel, the war in women between what we're taught and what our nature is. Because we're taught this sort of feminist, what I call a gynocrat meaning ruled by women. This sort of gynocratic thinking where we're supposed to be on exact equal footing with men and to a certain degree almost superior to them. Men can't tell us anything. They don't know anything. We're, the same. But then it battles with our nature because we know we're not the same. And we're not the same because masculinity actually inherently holds authority and femininity does not. We are naturally submitted underneath that. We don't have a natural authority. Women have natural authority over like children, whatever. If we're raising children, then yes, we have an authority over them. And even with our sons, they outgrow our authority. After a certain age, we can't actually tell them what to do. They don't listen to that. And so that movie being released and then being a hit, because the books were a hit and then the movie was a hit, that actually told the tale that women actually do appreciate, even though it was cast in like a BDSM, a more sexual light, women actually do appreciate the dominance of men.